Hey, is that folk music that you play there? What is that? How do you call that folk music?
I think it was Studs Terkel who asked Big Bill Brunzi, did he consider his blues music to be folk music? And Big Bill says, well, never heard no horses.
Shoo bob shooby doo doo booby doo dow.
Bang! Hot dog!
Don't hesitate. It could be your ticket to a new tomorrow.
All right. Wow. That is truly amazing.
You think so?
Yes. Unbelievable. Very unbelievable. Really great. The show is Horses Sing None of It. My name is Ralph Litwin, and our hammer dulcimer player is Xiannian, and our other guest is Julie Tay, both from the Wasing Center for Chinese Arts in New York City. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you.
And Xiao is the musical director of the Wasing Center. And what would you like us to know about, else would you like us to know about the Wasing Center, Julie?
Well, We are based in New York. We're on a very crowded street in the middle of Chinatown. So you ever come down for roast pork buns in Chinatown, you should come up. But be prepared. You have to walk up 2 flights in the tiny stairs up classic Chinatown walk-up building in New York City. We are very small physically, but we are spiritually. We're a powerhouse of artists of all sorts. And today we have Xiannian Xiao here, who is our prime example of the sort of people we have and the sort of arts that we do.
Very good.
你要不要说说你的这个曲子是叫什么名字？
刚才play 演奏这个曲子是我们中国 Chinese 一个地区的少数民族的当地的曲子改编成一个器乐曲，原来这是当地流传的一种民间小音乐，后来用大交响乐队，就是民族交响乐队给它改编成个大型乐队，我又搞那个大型乐队又改到我的小扬琴上。
What he just played, Xiao said, is typical of the way in Chinese music, the tradition of picking on a simple folk tune, and this tune is a tune of the Xiao people, a minority group in China, and the idea is you take up a folk tune and you elaborate it and you layer it with all sorts of instrumentation. And indeed, the way this piece is, as I know, it's very much established as a full orchestral piece, performed by anything from 40 to 100 people in orchestra. And what Xiao had just done then was to turn it back around, kind of, making a U-turn, with that large piece in mind that he used to play just back 2 years ago, for example, before he came to the United States. He was working in a big orchestra called the Xiannian Music and Dance Company, and they had 60 people typically on stage. So this piece is very much in his mind, and the basic structure and the basic layering of all the instrumentation, and with just the yangqin, which is this instrument, he managed to express that and compress it within just his one instrument. So that's what we just heard. Ralph, do you know anything about this instrument that I called the yangqin? Can you say yangqin?
Yangqin?
Very good. Who coached you before?
Nobody.
Nobody.
It was just a lucky hit.
Good. Do you know anything about this instrument?
I don't.
Okay, you want to know something about it?
Yes, sure.
For one thing, actually, we're kind of faking it here. We call this Chinese arts, but this is not really Chinese.
Really?
Yeah, well, as far as being Chinese, it's really the baby of the Chinese instrumentation repertoire. It is the youngest instrument to be adopted into China from Persia about, I would say, 500 years ago. 600 years now, and this is during the time of the Ming Dynasty. It had great expansion into Southeast Asia and into India and Persia, and so this instrument was then picked up, and since then it became slowly more and more Chinese, like fortune cookies. So shall we hear another piece?
Yes, definitely.
你要不要
so.
来第二个曲？
OK，
是什么曲？
我想不起来了，名字，那叫什么？节日铁山。
Okay, 你要做节日铁山。Okay. Next piece is a piece that's called, translated as Festival at Tianshan. Let's hear it.
要不要小点声搁这伴奏？
你要我的鼓？
你要不要
Okay,
你
好。
轻点，轻点你就跟着走就行。
He wants me to follow along with the drum, so this is what he makes me do, in addition to speaking English.
只要你要跟不上你就停，你不吱声就可以
好，
不出声就行。
Okay.
Boy, that's an enthusiastic piece.
Yes. This piece actually takes us somewhat away from the original relaxed and kind of loose folk tradition, more into Chinese music as it became institutionalized as concert music, when especially when the idea of conservatories for Chinese music became really big. From, I would say, the late 60s into the 70s in China. And if you remember, this also was the time of socialism and, sports and everything was always good from the Soviet Union and China, in the Olympics and everything. So in a way, music sort of took on a little bit of the tone, of this obsessive kung fu training and, speed and virtuosity was a big thing then.
Uh-huh. Cool.
Did you like it?
Loved it.
很好，他
Thank
说
you.
这个很快，刺激。
这个再来慢的，一会儿。
Do you want something
温柔的。
softer? Yeah.
Sure.
温柔一点吧，让他们休息一点。
好 OK
Give you a break, right?
before we get too far, we want to tell people how to get in touch with you and find out more information about the Wasing Center.
Okay.
And show them that there is recorded music that they can find out about, I guess, on your website too, or at least how to get in touch with you about it. You get a shot of that, Bob? And then it's got a very beautiful inside of this CD too.
This was actually recorded live recently. It's Xiao's first recording in the United States.
And the Wasing Center information is, if somebody's on the graphics in the studio there, in the control room, they could flash the name and website. There we go.
Okay, great.
Wasing Center for Chinese Inc. 212-431-7373 is the phone number, and the email address is info@wasing.com. But we didn't somehow get the website on there.
The website actually is simply wasing.com.
www.wasing.com
Right,
for those who
exactly.
want to go look at the website.
Yeah.
Good. Great.
Shall we go on?
We shall go on.
Right. 刚才那个曲是叫什么名字呢？
刚开演奏的，是梁祝，
梁祝。
梁山伯与祝英台。
The piece that was just played, it may be familiar to some American ears. It's fairly well known, and in Chinese understanding is usually referred to as Liang Zhu, and Liang actually is a last name or family name, and Zhu is a family name. Liang, the family name of the male lover in the story, and Zhu, the female lover. But in Western understanding, this piece is usually called the Butterfly Lovers. I don't know if you're familiar with that.
I'm not.
You're not? Well, it's actually a large violin concerto, and that was based on a story that is a famous Chinese opera. Really tragic, tear-jerking, unbelievable thing about two young people who couldn't get together because their parents wouldn't let them. Although the woman actually disguised herself as a boy and went off to study for 3 years, and they shared the same room and slept in the same bed together. The man actually failed to realize that she was a woman until it was too late. That's right. It's incredible. It's kind of funny, you know. It's a social commentary, I guess. But from the point of view of us in the modern age, it's kind of funny. So anyway, and what Xiao just did was again to compress that into a little piece that is actually the highlight, the high point of the concerto when the lovers actually became butterflies. And the way they became butterflies was the woman first fell into the grave of the man. The man died of a broken heart, and she fell in there, and the two of them then, out of the mass became butterflies, and so they became butterfly lovers. So that's the story behind that.
Nice story.
我刚告诉他们那个梁祝那个故事。
OK。
你还要他们知道些什么吗？有关扬琴，或者你自己要不要告诉他们有什么秘诀，你能够这么的在扬琴上面？
我觉得这个东西也不是什么秘诀，就感觉你只要是投入了，他就能很快理解的；不投入，很快学不进去，就会改变的。
I just tried to tap into him for what secrets he had behind this particular thing. Like in the Xiaolin movies, if you saw any kung fu movies, there's usually a book. And once you get that, you kind of you have the art. And his answer was, with this thing, there's really nothing. All you have to do is to concentrate. If you concentrate, you do it.
还有一个方法很重要，不论学这个乐器还是学其他乐器，方法正确了，就很快就能掌握这个乐器。
And also very important is you get the right method. He has a very scientific approach to this. He thinks all instruments are alike. You get the right method, you will do well. 来，你给他们奏个，要不要奏个？你认为是比较技巧的强一点的，还是怎么样？还是
需求强。你还有时间吗？
How much time do we have?
4 minutes.
4分钟。
还有4分钟。那奏个新疆舞曲。
OK.
OK. 他要不要合作和我
？Do you want to come in on this piece or it's a fast one? Well, as you wish.
Okay.
他可能
What key would it be in if I'm going to try and come in on it?
这个新疆是什么调，他就知道。
D 调。
D.
Okay. I'll try and use my discretion.
他可能偷进来。
OK。
Thank you for being our guest on Horses Sing None of It. Our guests, it's been a pleasure to have you. and
Thank
to
you. It's
meet
been
you.
a great pleasure.
OK。
And we have just a little bit, like a minute left if you want to play out over the credits.
你可以现在奏呢，就是他们就要结束了，你可以随你奏。
OK，就奏刚才我奏那，他跟着吹呗。